Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave, the X39 star of the show, talking about a little bit about our technology and the company and our founder inventor. I am your co-host, Robin Blank Mascari, along with Gregory. And what we do on these calls is we do a brief introduction with a presentation that Gregory does. Then we introduce our special guest. And this evening we have Dr. Jeffrey Hubbard with us. And then we turn things over to you. So if you have stories to share or questions to ask, please put them in the Q&A. And thank you for remembering symptoms only. So I get to turn things over to Gregory. Over to you, honey.
All right, here I am. Let's see if my camera comes on.
Oh, there you are.
Here I am. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Good evening.
All right.
And happy November. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, it's already November. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and do a short little presentation to kind of get things rolling with us here tonight. So here we go. And we're going to talk about activating your stem cells. What an exciting thing to talk about. And before we do, I'm going to share a personal realization I came to a while back. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger. And I bet you many of you can relate to that. And so let me ask you a personal question just to get things going. If anything were possible, what is one thing you choose to experience differently in your health or in the health of someone you love and care for? And what difference would it make for you or for them? Think about that. And while you're thinking about that, I just want to mention that our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, diagnose, cure any disease. They do, however, help put our bodies back into a more healthy, regenerative mode, and many times wonderful things start happening. So with that said, let's talk about the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger, and we found that stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that repairs and regenerates damaged cells in every organ, gland, muscle, bone, skin, all throughout our entire body. Here's the problem, however. The older we get, the less stem cells we have, and by age 60, only a small percentage remain. And sadly, the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And neither of those sound very cool to me. So what about stem cell injections? Because they're becoming quite popular, but you know what? They're quite expensive too. They can be painful, risky, controversial, and you know what? No guaranteed results. You could spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars with no guaranteed results. Well, today we got some really good news for you, because you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with a historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, non-invasive, it's drug-free, and it's a patented form of phototherapy that uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve our stem cell activity. And this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt. And David is not only a brilliant scientist and researcher, he's a genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings. And he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. David's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our LifeWave phototherapy products, and many more studies are always in the works. That's because LifeWave is a very science-based advanced technology company. It was founded back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology developed by David for the Navy SEALs to increase their strength, stamina, performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. It turned out to be so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes around the world in almost every sport. We have our corporate headquarters, laboratory, and manufacturing diversified between California, Utah, and Ireland. And I'm happy to tell you, we have global distribution to over 75 countries with 15 global distribution centers. So the word is getting out on LifeWave, and our patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. And you know, the media has begun to notice, and you might too, when you see these auspicious little patches on the bodies of some of your favorite athletes and Olympians. So how does this amazing technology work? Well, it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation, and LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals that when they're applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat, and then they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in our body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it's the basis of our LifeWave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause very specific changes in our body. For example, we all know that when we go out in the sun, a very specific frequency of light causes our body to manufacture vitamin D. We don't get a vitamin D download from the sun. We get a light frequency download from the sun, and our body takes that trigger and makes vitamin D. Likewise, another frequency of light, UV, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid, well-recognized scientific principle. And our focus for the last 14 years has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And back in the beginning of 2019, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch, which is a true historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation. And some are calling this the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, because we're actually doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not been able to do. And that is that X39 actually activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our body's own stem cells, while also altering gene expression for thousands of genes toward a younger and more vibrant you. So it truly is a game changer. It's a true breakthrough. And our inventor and founder, CEO David Schmidt, said, my greatest accomplishment yet, with an emphasis on yet, because he spends more time in the laboratory than in an office. And he's just a brilliant inventor. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very exciting news. So I'm very excited about X39, Robin, as I know you are. And I'm going to turn the next part of the call over to you and to our special guest.
Okay, and can you please promote Dr. Jeffrey?
I'd be happy to.
Oh, good. So I get to do the introductions, and I love doing this. And this man is a gem, and we have such wonderful practitioners that have joined our community at LifeWave. And yeah, I love how he calls himself a conscientious medical director. He's a researcher, he's an entrepreneur, but he truly is on a quest to educate people on the importance of lifestyle and prevention. And he has been to the Philippines with our team. He's been educating people all over. He's serving underserved populations with his wonderful gifts of education and prevention, and is truly always looking for cutting edge ways to help people with their wellness. And when he discovered LifeWave, he got excited. So I want to welcome Dr. Jeffrey.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, nice to see you. It's been a long time.
It has too long.
I know.
Been traveling and having a good time.
Yep, and we got another one coming up. So, you know, it's a good life. It's a good life. So, I'm enjoying starting off these calls by having our practitioners share either a recent or a favorite story that you have, and you can weave them through your talk tonight. But is there something that has happened recently, or one of the benefits that you've just been really excited about that was unexpected? And then we'll jump in using this technology.
So my favorite, and I guess this is pretty recent, but my favorite story is we were in Iloilo City, Philippines, which is in the central part of the archipelago. And we had promoted this event, and there were so many different people that came. This one lady, we had an active live patching session, and she came to the front And we asked her what her problem was. And so she took her shoe off and she had this huge ulcer. And I was like, wow, I was really impressed. I mean, it was big. And so she's just telling us she's been in constant pain for years and she's never been able to achieve any sort of success with healing this wound. And so I just kind of closed my eyes for a moment. And I was like, what do we need to do? And so I just decided to be aggressive. I put 2X39 and I put some ice wave. And so we take maybe 2 minutes and I turn around and the lady's tears are running down her face. She's like, for the first time in years, my foot doesn't hurt.
Mm.
And so that was just cool. The spirit was moving in that place. It was really awesome. And so there was another gentleman who had a really bad car accident and he had some tightness and stiffness in his neck. And you could literally see him relax himself when we were patching. So, I mean, it was cool. So.
It doesn't get much better than in the moment, because this technology, especially Ice Wave and Ian, people can feel it really quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. And what's the value of going down in your pain level? Truly, I know. Yeah.
It's an amazing.
Not even pharmaceuticals can do it that fast. Yeah.
No, exactly. And just to watch someone's face, the joy, the relief, whatever the case may be, you can see it written all over their face, because, everybody has some level of skepticism when they first get introduced to the technology, because photobiomodulation is a little foreign, it's new, it's not quite a household name yet. And so we've got a really great opportunity to be a part of making this something that everybody knows about. And the X39 does a really great job for that, because people know stem cell. So that's a great way to start the conversation. And then you introduce photobiomodulation on top of that, and people start to put it together and get excited.
It's so fun to learn, and it gets more fun all the time. We just came back from a trip, and there was someone in our group that Gregory says, Robin, patch him. I said, I don't think he's open. He said, he's in pain. So I went up to him and I asked him, what level pain he was in. He said it was a 12. And I patched him, and, here we are in Italy, and, he couldn't enjoy the trip. And at dinner, he said, I didn't want to have to tell you this. He goes, I thought this stuff was snake oil, and I'm feeling a lot better. We hear that, that's part of what we hear, isn't it? Yep. You reel them in. Okay. So as a doctor, Dr. Jeffrey, what is it that really got you interested and excited enough to go deeper and look into LifeWave, and then to share it, to use it personally, and then to share it with your patients and clients?
Well, in general, I'm just like a student of life, right? So I'm always finding new stuff, new industries, new innovations to be so intriguing. And so a friend of mine, we had been in a few other companies and sold nutritional products and different things that I think are great and still are needed, right? But this was different. This was the cutting edge. So I was really, interested in finding out more about it when she initially brought it to my attention. And so we sat down over lunch and she introduced me by showing me the 15th anniversary brochure. So that was impressive, because most companies don't make it 15 years. So that was, impressive right off the bat. Yeah. Right. So then I'm starting to read a little bit more and a little bit more. And I'm like, wow, if this is what it actually says it is, this is a huge thing. And so that perked my interest, definitely. And so she gave me a couple of patches to try, and I put them on. And so within maybe about an hour, I started to feel a little different, something noticeable. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I definitely noticed that I had a little bit more energy, a little more pep in my step. I felt lighter on my feet. That was kind of my initial experience. And then the next morning, I woke up and I was like, I'd slept 8 hours. And, that was like, oh, okay, this thing is definitely doing something. So I was like, Jeff, you need to look into this, because this could be something big. And so I started doing a little bit of due diligence and research. I found out that there's 80 plus articles on the LifeWave website. And so I started scrolling through them and looking at different stuff. And I came to the Eon article, and that really blew me away because the Eon article actually used a device that I use in my approach to working with patients. And I was like, oh, this is a match made in heaven. Look at this. And so I got excited. That's the same day I ordered. And that was really how the magic, everything just kind of serendipitously happened after that. I just really started getting introduced to the right people. I met Dr. Nicholas, I met Dr. Kwarla, I met so many cool people. Jason Barreco has been a great leader. I started to see how I was working with myself and my family and close relationships. That was it. I was sold.
I love it. And then the stories just keep continuing. And it's so wonderful to have it in your tool chest. So could you share with people, Dr. Jeff, who is this technology for and who isn't it for?
So I honestly and truly believe that everybody should start wearing these patches as much as they can wear them, because that's just how dynamic they are in regards to helping the body achieve homeostasis, which is just physiological balance. When you're in alignment and you're in tune, your body works. I mean, God has given us a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, and you just have to take care of it. You have to change the oil. You have to rotate the tires. You have to make sure the leather is conditioned, and it will ride forever. And these patches help you to keep everything in the proper perspective, so to speak. And so I really don't think that there's anybody, okay, so some caveats, okay. Everybody can wear them, regardless of your age, regardless of your sex. There's a lot of questions about pregnancy. They're totally healthy with pregnancy. There's a couple of things. If you're actively going through chemotherapy treatment, this is going to oppose the chemotherapy treatment. X39 is. So we often caution people and tell them that this is not a good idea while you're actively taking chemo, if you just recently stopped chemo, or if the chemo is still in your system. Two, if you're going to have a kidney replaced, heart replaced, liver, any sort of transplant, and you're going to be taking anti-rejection drugs, it's not a great idea to start using X39 and glutathione and things that may shift the way your immune functions and could possibly reject the organ. So we exercise a lot of caution around those two scenarios. But other than that, you are free to use these patches as you please. They do not engage with other medicines. They do not engage with other herbs. You got to remember, this is a light therapy. It is inducing your body into homeostasis and helping the production of really key molecules that are very healthy for your general function. So don't be afraid to use them. There's really no right or wrong way. It's just kind of personal preference and the way that they work with your physiology.
I love it. I love it. So there's no contraindications because nothing's going in your body, you know?
Exactly.
And because some of the patches do enhance the immune system, if you're on an immune suppressing medication like chemo or, for an organ transplant, then best to stay away because it'll be counterproductive for what the meds are trying to do. So let's jump into, like, how long does it take for people to notice something?
And so that's the beauty of this. It's really a case-by-case basis, and how your body experiences the therapy, the light. I often recommend a minimum of 6 months. You have to be in this thing for 6 months. Let your body get acclimated to the light therapy. Let your body start to improve itself and rebuild itself. And you will begin to experience something, I promise you. The problem is that most people quit too soon. That's the only scenario I've come across where people don't notice something and don't have an experience, is if they quit too soon.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, isn't that wonderful? Are there any side effects that are not pleasant, or some things people should watch out for?
So yes, there can be a couple of things that are what may be perceived as negative. I wouldn't think of them as negative. I would think about them as a healing crisis, Guys, you have years and decades of things that need to improve themselves: general wear and tear, stress, breathing in uncleansed air, drinking in not the most healthiest water, just so many different things that are impacting your body at a very minute microscopic level, that as you begin to improve them, you're going to really start to see a lot of changes, but you got to give your body ample time to experience that.
It didn't happen overnight, did it?
No, it certainly didn't. And I'm going to tell you, we had a meeting here in Dallas. We had some of our administrators come down from Utah, and they rented out the ballroom at the Marriott. It was very swanky. I love great ambiance. And it was a great event. There was a speaker who came. She's one of our senior presidential directors, and she said something that I thought was very profound. She said you should wear the patches for 1 month for every decade of life. I'd never heard that before, but that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's something everybody can appreciate. If you're 60, 70, 80, I don't think you should expect for a 2-week turnaround. That's just not going to happen. So you got to be diligent and gotta work towards this goal. It's a cumulative effect. So the more and more you wear the patches, the more and more you're going to start to see change. February will be 3 years for me, and I'm still experiencing different things when I put the patch on and when I start to start my day or winding my day down. Whenever I'm switching patches, I can notice the difference. And if I don't wear them for whatever reason, I'm like, oh, I can tell that something's not quite right. So, guys, I'm really very excited about what these patches can do. Especially with my travels to other countries where people are really suffering. I mean, we can do so much good if we, are diligent in introducing this to people. And I find that if I wear my patches in a visible area, it starts conversations. And that's a great way that you can build relationships and get people to ask you, what is this patch you're wearing? And that's your opportunity to say, hey, well, I got something in my bag and I'll be happy to share something with you. Let me tell you about what photobiomodulation is. And they're like, wow, that sounds very scientific. You don't have to say a lot to make an impact.
That's so great. That's so great. So, the consistency. Well, let's talk. What are the, how do people get the maximum benefit out of utilizing this technology?
Great question. So, you have to drink water. What we say in the medical community is that you should, right on cue, right? What you should be drinking is approximately 66 ounces per 100 pounds of weight, or 2/3 of your body weight in ounces. So, you can do the math. If you like tea, coffee, sodas, alcoholic beverages, all of them are diuretics, and they're going to make you urinate more frequently than you would normally. So therefore, you need to drink more water to replenish. And it's about our extracellular fluid, not just what we put into our stomach, but what we actually get into our tissues and into our organs. And so you need to be drinking enough water to keep up with how much you urinate for sure, and probably need a little bit more. Minerals are really important. You're going to need magnesium, you're going to need zinc, and you're going to need copper. Those are the 3 that really help the patches to work as effectively as you would like them to. And obviously the other minerals are going to be just as important as well, but specifically for LifeWave, copper, zinc, and magnesium. And then, I recognize that over time, you are eliminating things. You're eliminating heavy metals, you're eliminating toxins, you're eliminating things, and they're going to go into your lymph. So I would just say you need to be active. You need to either be on a rebounder, you need to be walking, you need to be biking, whatever your cup of tea is, but you need to be sweating and getting all of this additional stuff out of your system, because the patches are really working, guys, to get all of this old gunk and junk and sludge out of those areas. And so if you're not able to do that and get a good sweat. You can go to the sauna, you can do a lot of different things. But I find that when I'm more active, I really recognize the patching for what it can do.
That's so helpful because a lot of people don't realize that basically our garbage disposal system, the lymphatics, needs pressure or movement in order to open up those valves. And
Absolutely.
and if they're not open, then those toxins just kind of hang out in there. So movement is really important. And I love the way David talks about, lifestyle. It's not just the patches are amazing, but we got to do our part. And so,
Absolutely.
and I know that's a big part of what you do with people is educate them on, good food and water and breathing and all kinds of wonderful things. Rest, important
Yeah.
stuff. So, um, so we've got hydration, minerals. How long do people wear the patches?
Oh, great question. 12 hours is the recommended dosage. I find that you have a little bit more efficacy in the patch. I think of it like a battery. So, you're draining it maybe halfway throughout that 12-hour process. So if you like to do this cyclical process that we recommend, where you wear two X39 at the same time or whatever patch you're wearing, the second day, you're still going to put that patch from the previous day on, but you'll put a new one on also. And that's a really great way to get your GHK copper peptide or your glutathione or whatever you're trying to induce, you get it to a high level really fast.
Beautiful, beautiful. So are you ready for opening things up for our audience?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I do want to start out with a story because this is such a beautiful story, and it's from another one of our practitioners, Anne Moreau. And I'm going to read this, and I realized the other day when I was talking to someone is these products give people hope that the future can be different than what you imagine as you age. Because our belief system is, we got a new paradigm here. And so Anne says 6 weeks ago, my 92-year-old mom had a brain injury that caused her to lose her eyesight, seeing blurred and not able to read numbers and confused. We started patching with X39 during the day, IceWave and carnosine at night consistently. Today she had her eye exam, and the doctor told her that there was no sign of degeneration in her eye. Eye pressure was great and that her vision looked really good. No change in prescription. He took her hands and said, "Keep up the great work. Your vision is great."
Wow.
I know. And there's a lot more to that story because she was losing hope. She didn't want to live like that.
Right.
Confused and things blurred. So thank you so much, Anne, for sharing that. And anyone else wants to share their story, you can write it in the Q&A. So let's start out with Shirley, who has a question. Shirley's having a tooth extracted next Monday. What patches should I wear? X39 Eon glutathione IceWave. Which placements, please? I don't tolerate antibiotics well, so I am doing olive leaf for 11 days. You're the perfect guy to answer this one.
Yeah, I just tell me about it. So I had a bad tooth too, and what I did was, hopefully we don't have the same facial hair. I clipped one of the patches right here, and it totally helped. X39, and then I shifted to Eon. So that can help minimize whatever you're going through. I imagine it's probably painful and discomforting at the moment. So you can help to do that. And then obviously after you have the extraction, you would like to put X39 there and maybe a glutathione there to help with infection or possibility of infection, and also for the gum to heal.
Beautiful. So right on the face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Isn't that wonderful? So Shirley, we'll be thinking about you and know that it's going to go really, really well. And if you've been using the patches for a while, your doctor will be amazed at how fast you heal. That's what we hear all the time. Okay. Kathy says, is there a patch you'd recommend for the small little bumpy growths on the bottom of your feet? These little bumps seem to put roots down.
Interesting. So there's a science of reflexology, and in that ideology, it talks about gravity pulling certain organ toxins down into the feet. So essentially there is an area, a part of each of the feet that are responding or responsive to a particular organ or organ system. And so that's a traditional Chinese approach, is massaging the feet and helping to remove those, we call them sometimes gravelly areas, where it can feel like you're massaging rocks or something like that. You kind of massage those things out. So that should be, I would get a reflexology treatment. I would really start to get that moving around, and then you can patch there. Energy enhancer is great. It just brings healthy energy to the feet and helps your kidneys to eliminate. It's a kidney meridian, so that would be helpful. You can patch X39. That's always going to be helpful. Carnosine is really great on the feet as well. So I would just start there and kind of be aggressive and, get maybe a series of reflexology treatments, because typically that's indicative of some other thing going on.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. So we have Redmi from the Philippines, and I'm going to ask the question that Redmi asks, and I know you're going to answer it in a wonderful way, because Redmi is asking, what ailments can the patches cure, and how many hours is the patch used on the skin? We just talked about that. So I love you sharing your paradigm with people of how this is different than Western medicine.
Right. And so good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Top of the morning for you. So you probably missed the beginning of our discussion.
Yeah.
Where we talked about bringing the body into homeostasis. And so there's a cellular level element to much of what happens when we wear the patches. Glutathione is produced inside the cell. GHK copper peptide is produced inside the cell. Carnosine is produced, melatonin is produced inside the cell. So these are things that are happening, what we call endogenously, or naturally produced by the body. So this process that we experience in the physical is an inside out process. So it's starting inside the cell, microscopic, but the way that those cells begin to function at a higher level and vibrate at a higher frequency, it changes so many elements of our biochem and our physiology that begins to affect us on a major organ system level. And you start to feel and experience improvements in certain issues. So in Western medicine, the common approach is a symptom specific or symptom focused therapy, right? It's like, hey, I got this pain. Okay, we're going to give you a pain therapy for that. Not necessarily concerning yourself with why the pain is there in the first place. I hope that makes sense to everybody. And so in other cultures, in other ideologies of medicine, they take different approaches to what somebody may present from a symptom perspective with. And so I think that there's merit to several different ideologies, and that's why I'm just kind of a really an interested person in all aspects of health, because you never know what you can gain and what kind of appreciation you can have for whatever you may come across. And so I've kind of got this hodgepodge of things that I know are really valuable and work for people when they have certain issues. So to answer your question in as direct way as possible, you can really be expecting to have 6 or so months of therapy before you really start to see exactly what may be happening and what sort of improvements you're going to see. But that's a commitment, and you should really think of this as a lifestyle shift and not necessarily a treatment for a particular condition.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's a different paradigm. We don't do this for that. We do what we can to help the body do what it's designed to do. Like you said, come to homeostasis, and those frequencies help it do that. And things change at a cellular. I love the way you explained how things change at a cellular level and the vibration changes too. That was beautiful. Nuno is wondering, are all the patches the same?
No, sir. So each patch is unique. It has its own nanocrystal proprietary blend of organic materials for each patch. And so that creates a reflection of a particular frequency. Excuse me. So each of the patches reflects a particular frequency of light that has been predetermined to raise that particular molecule's synthesis. That, so in glutathione, that is a specific patch designed to improve and increase the amount of glutathione the body produces. Same thing with carnosine. X39 raises GHK copper peptide. X49 raises AHK copper peptide. Silent night raises melatonin levels. Nirvana, it raises our endorphins, it raises our excitement hormones, so there's just so many different elements, but that's the core, is that small patch and the fiber mesh has a unique blend that is going to emphasize that particular photobiomodulation process.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. That was really well explained. I love it. They look the same, but they're not.
They
Okay.
do much different things.
Casey has someone who's getting itchy hands when he tried Silent Nights, and she had him take the patch off and reintroduce it again, and the same thing happened. What would you say to this person? Itchy hands from Silent Nights.
That's different. I haven't necessarily heard that one before. Maybe try some really heavy dose of water, get him to drink a whole glass or something like that before he puts the patch on. Maybe give him a little bit of time to get acclimated. Usually after the second application, you don't have any sort of experiences from a healing crisis standpoint. But sometimes it may take 3 applications. So I may try again and see if that's the case. If he's really having an issue just with Silent Night, Alavita is great for sleep. Eon is great for sleep as well. Ice Wave can be used to help get you relaxed for sleep. So, you can try those patches as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So let's see, Wendy, my husband has pain in the heel of his left foot when he walks. I've tried Ice Wave, but no help. Is there anything else you would suggest?
If there's a particular reason why, like
why has he got pain in the foot?
Or anything, that maybe bumped it up against something, or there was some other injury to the foot, Eon's really great. Guys, here's a pro tip. When you stack the patches, you can put the fiber mesh right on top of the other. They have a synergistic quality together. So Eon and glutathione is a powerful anti-inflammatory combo. So that's really great for like point pain. So if you can point to something and say, ouch, this hurts, you can put that glutathione and Eon right on top of there. And that makes for a really great sort of pain relief strategy. But you can do that in combination with Ice Wave too. That works really well. So try those. X39 can be helpful sometimes, if it's like a circulation issue, or if there's maybe some other sort of condition going on, the cells just are unhappy. X39 will clean that up over a couple of weeks and you should start to feel better.
Stay with it. And I might suggest, in addition to all of those, and Dr. Nicholas, the official term is pancaking, one on top of the other. And he does that a lot, if you're using Ice Wave and put the Eon right on top of the tan patch. But you might want to move the Ice Wave around and try some different locations, and Dr. Barber likes to cross over a joint when using Ice Wave, and has found that to be and I've actually had some great success with that. It's more consistent and a success. So try moving the Ice Wave, or, put the tan patch, right on that acute spot, and try moving the right one around in some different places and see. And then, like Dr. Jeff said, add some other patches on top, because sometimes that is the magic. Okay, we have time for 1 or 2 more. And So Patricia, burning sensation on the top of the feet in the middle ankle area after going to bed. What can be used while sleeping other than Eon?
So carnosine is actually clinically proven. I mean, there's articles written all over the internet about how carnosine helps with, small fiber nerve issues in the periphery and helping with circulation in the periphery and something we call glycosylation. So glycosylation is the breakdown of sugar metabolism. So that's a great way to approach issues in the feet.
Great, great, thank you. And there's a lot of patches you can wear at night. We recommend not glutathione so much at night, just because your body, to cleanse things out, it's good to be in movement a little bit. And finally, from Cheryl, what patch can be used for an adult that is starting to get teenage acne?
Well, so our Alavita system is really good for handling topical treatment of the skin. So it comes with a nighttime moisturizer and a daytime cream, and you wear that in conjunction with the Alavita patch, which does some really awesome things, guys. Alavita is kind of underrated for its functionality. It's been clinically proven to improve the function of so many different organ systems in the body. So that's a smart play. Typically, if you've got acne or skin, it's because you are having some gut health problems. So you can really treat skin and skin blemishes by cleansing the gut, cleansing the colon, liver, kidneys, spleen, just kind of get all of that under control. It can get, wax and wane sometimes. And so you want to maybe take a pre-probiotic or something like that to kind of help, and then patch on top of the abdomen with things like glutathione, SP6 Complete, Ice Wave can be really great. Eon can be really great because most of the issues with the gut are typically inflammatory related. So the immune system is kind of narrowing in on something that you may have eaten or something that's kind of getting into the intestinal lining. Leaky gut is a huge problem in America. So it's very possible that may be the reason you're experiencing some acne in the adult time frame.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm glad you mentioned Alavita, because tomorrow, David Schmidt, our founder inventor, is doing a presentation on Alavita. And that's
Cool.
available at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Pacific time. And if you're a guest, check in with the person who invited you to watch that presentation, because it's always inspiring and we always get to learn from David. And there's many dimensions to each one of these patches way beyond what we talk about, aren't there?
Too many.
It continues to amaze me. Well, we've come to the end of our time, and so thank you, everyone. I didn't look at the chat. It's out of my sight range, so I did look at the Q&A, and I want to thank everyone for being with us tonight. Always wonderful to have you, Dr. Jeffrey. What a treat to be with you. And if you're a guest this evening, we just invite you to get started. We have a guarantee for the products. It's a 30-day risk-free guarantee, and you can reach out to the person that invited you. This is a great call to bring people as an introduction to LifeWave, and we have a wonderful customer program, a very generous one. And if you're the kind of person that likes to share with others and you can't not share, then ask the person who invited you about our brand partner program, because we have a very generous compensation. So we will call this call complete, and I want to thank everyone for being here and say goodbye. Bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye.